think it could be a potential first pick, depending on how these bans go. And speaking of bans, let's get into it right now. Nongshim on the blue side, as they are the home team. They are going to choose that. Damwon Kia now with counter pick opportunity as Ezreal is banned away. Now, Wolf, do you want to know a fun fact? I have a fun fact.
Go on.
So, over the last week, Dr. has been playing a whole bunch of solo queue. Do you know how many games of Kalista he's played?
I do not.
42.
42?
42 Kalista games. And they haven't been going too bad. He is currently climbing a little bit. He's not necessarily Canyon right now, who's sitting at rank 1, just playing, you know, in order to avoid decay and hold on to that top spot. But it is certainly a lot of practice to put on a champion that he has never been known for to try and add another string to their bow. And this could be a really cool thing for Damwon Kia to flex into because they haven't really done this before. As the Lucian Cork are going to be banned away alongside the Ezreal, and there's the Zeri and Poppy bans.
It's been Dukdom who's been playing so much scaling AD carry, so many scaling AD carry threats. He's never played, outside of the one game, really that much Lucian. Hasn't played Kalista this season. And you have to expect the bans will be once again targeted towards him. He ends up eating the Lucian and Ezreal here this time around. Zeri is, of course, banned on red side. They banned the Kalista. AD carry pool is now thinned out quite significantly, but this is a Sylas angle for BDD if I've ever seen one. It hasn't been historically his best champion, but they will pick away the Aphelios.
That is
which
a
means
lot
that
of respect.
Kia, yeah, but Damwon Kia could just take Sylas Gnar if they want here. They have so much power.
You never need to pick the Gnar. You can just pick Sylas and Tom Kench if you want to. But they pick Gnar,
we'll
Tom
just take
Kench.
the opposite. We'll take the opposite, which leaves the Sylas open. Brave.
Yeah. Brave or silly, I guess is the thought here.
Well, it could be
I
that
kind of disagree with it.
Yeah, well, Showmaker may have a specific pick in mind that he wants to play into the Sylas. They might just be hard baiting it here. Let's wait and see, because you've got to imagine that Damwon Kia 100% know that this is a strong option. Also, they might just feel comfortable that Azir is open, that BDD would rather play the Azir than the Sylas. He is not a Sylas player. He's only played it once this season. It did not go well. He's one of those very few L's we have in the Sylas column so far this season, so I guess in that regard, Damwon Kia expecting BDD to go back to comfort. Azir is his most played this season, as it is basically career for the guy. He's 0-5 on it.
Oh,
but,
no.
you know, going back to comfort is always what you want to do in situations like this. I guess if your Nongshim is Wukong, we'll get locked in with this.
Yep. So pretty standard
and they don't
stuff.
Have a strong,
yeah,
they don't have a strong support for the Aphelios right now, which is a bit concerning, though. This could just be Jinx, Tom Kench for Damwon Kia, and feel pretty good about that.
I think that you just lock away the Sylas. I think you're still happy to play it. But Taliyah is the flex pick of choice here for Damwon Kia, and that was actually one of the choices. Like, they managed to get the Damwon Kia Exodia the last time around in their last match, which was Tom Kench, Aphelios, Taliyah. Because if they get that in the first round, then they freely flex the Taliyah everywhere. Noguri has a gigantic champion pool, so it doesn't really matter what else you put towards that top side. But this is looking almost better, right? Because Aphelios in anyone other than Dokdam's hands, outside of a couple of choice people, not including Ghost, but you're not worried about that going over to the other team. It's just if Damwon gets it, that's the problem. So you may as well lock down another priority pick here.
Damwon have been playing this Taliyah so much. They are 5-0 on it. 5 of those 7 wins she's picked up this season on 2 players. Like you mentioned, the flexibility of this Taliyah pick is immense. Now, the Jinx was the one I was looking for in this option since they prioritized the Taliyah. It's now off the table here. But there's still a plethora of AD carries that can be played here for Damwon Kia. Now, obviously the Zeri, the Kalista, the Lucian, and the Ezreal are all banned away. But I wouldn't mind Dukdam on the Xayah here, this game around, into the Aphelios. Could also go more all-in on something like a Kai'Sa here. There's a lot of flexibility because they have both safety in the Tahm Kench, but also hard engage between the Gnar and the Taliyah. They banned the Gangplank away, not going to allow Kana to play strong side there and try to put the screws into this Gnar pick on the top side. And let's see what Nongshim want to take away from Dukdam in this final slot.
Yeah, they could ban the Senna theoretically if they are worried about it. Of course, you know, Jinx, Tahm Kench, Senna, Tahm Kench are the 2 obvious choices to pair alongside it. course, you can just play Kog'Maw or something like that if you feel like it, as Damwon Kia can pick basically whatever they want. Certainly a lot of choices there towards that bottom side they could go with, as Docdom going to pick Ghost's champion away from him potentially. But I like the Draven way more, and that would be a whole lot of fun. 4 seconds as Docdom's just cycling through a whole bunch of things, but it looks like Trundle might be the one. And they're going to switch over to collecting a jungler instead. So Viego going to be locked in here for Canyon, and we are still going to wait and see.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where you don't necessarily have to keep the Taliyah flex hidden, because it's, I think, definitely stronger in the mid lane in this comp, and pick up a Viego here and just wait and see, because you don't know what the support's going to be. There's a lot of options. Renata still available, Leona still available, Nautilus.
It was always going to be Nautilus. It was always, I mean, it's Snowflower, right? It
is Snowflower, and he's only played Nautilus, and he will play it a third time. So, fine. That's fair. I think Leona was a strong option here, but Nautilus is just so good with Wukong, Azir, as it looks like it's just going to be the Senna here into the Gnar, or not Senna, sorry, Sejuani into the Gnar, and this is a matchup that Nuguri has played both sides of quite a bit this season, and you know, it's just like the guy is 6-1 on Gnar. He's played 6 games of Sejuani. He's 4-2 there. He knows this matchup extremely well. I think it's a strong pick for the composition, but I think as Nuguri, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna have a fun time this game. This is gonna be a really enjoyable one. Yeah. I don't like the Jhin as much as a lot of the other picks available here. It was hovered. I just don't think it works well with the Taliyah. Something like an Ashe can be very oppressive, though, and that's what they're going to go with. They have so much engage. You can Ashe Arrow into Tahm Kench, going for the dive. You have the follow-up knockups there from Taliyah. She's got her Weaver's Wall. You've got a Gnar ultimate. The execution, I think, is much harder on Damwon's side in this draft. They're going to have to be super map aware. The coordination between Showmaker, Ashe, you know, it's going to have to be really crisp. But for Nongshim's side, they have a lot of really great damage with easy engage, Wukong, Nautilus, fairly low range Aphelios, but the Azir somewhat makes up for it. You have a very well-rounded composition here. And if you took the nameplates away, I would have to actually favor Nongshim going into this one, despite the Gnar into the Sejuani. But you put the nameplates on, and it's like, ooh, I don't know. I mean, Nongshim have the easier comp, and it is very well-rounded, but it's Damwon Kia, and they have a lot of power if the coordination is perfect in team fights, and that's what Damwon Kia is most famous for.
Exactly right. They've also got the Taliyah again. They have Gnar towards that top side. We always look at Damwon and you see what Nuguri and Showmaker are playing to see whether or not things are going to look good. Of course, things have changed a little bit with Docdom being there towards the bottom side, and the Ashe Tahm Kench is going to be an interesting lane, but Kellen has been super good on the Tahm Kench, and they're now taking on basically the quintessential meta composition to come through from Nongshim. It's pretty much exactly what was played by Fred at Breon last time around, as we'll have to see how it works as we hop into game number 1. Damwon fans out in force today, so we make our way out onto Summoner's Rift here. And look, I think that the bottom side, the Ashe pick is very interesting to me. I thought maybe Docdom was going to go for the more aggressive choice in the Draven or something like that, but I do really like the extra map control you get with the Hawkshot availability. So it could be something that they could leverage as this game goes on. Plus, early game volley value is very, very high. So
it also means that, yeah, with the Hail of Blades here too for Docdom, trading against this Ashe Kench, like you normally against Tahm Kench lanes want to be aggressive, just try to shoot the Tahm Kench repeatedly and put his health bar low, you know, depending on the matchup. Like if it's not Senna, you basically want to hook the Tahm Kench repeatedly if you can as the Nautilus. But with the Hail of Blades trade back here for Docdom, who also has Cleanse, you can actually die or actually trade very badly into this matchup if you do hook in as Snowflower here on the Nautilus. So he's going to have to be very careful with how he plays this one out. They do ward the invade, the potential invade, that is to say, and we'll just get away with taking this one for free here. A little bit of a leash
Yep.
And nothing crazy at level 1 this time around.
Thank goodness this game 1 is saved from what has been some pretty unfortunate level 1 shenanigans that happened in our first game of our previous series. As we do just have minions meeting here on this bottom side. Ghost misses one of them. See whether that is a trend that's going to continue, because right now, Dr. massively far ahead. Double the farm of this Aphelios right now. Crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a good start, let's say. But like the positioning here, obviously, like I was saying, you don't want to hook the Tahm Kench with the Ashe there in the early levels. You know, you do a lot of the time in a lot of different matchups with the Kench. Not this one. We'll check to see if he can find Dread. Yep, and we'll be successful. As you can see here, this is the power of the utility Ashe you were talking about, the Hawk Shot, giving you so much information as the jungler of Damwon Kia Canyon. You have now so much knowledge about the pathing.
Yeah, it's really, really smart. You can see a lot of undefeated champions here for Damwon Kia. Just one loss on the Narf and Noggery, and that is it. 6-0 for Kellen's Tahm Kench. Really, yeah, this is what we were talking about. This champion, I think Tahm Kench is like one of the main reasons why Damwon Kia have looked so much better, especially there on the bottom side of the map. As we're checking out the 6-in-a-row win streak for the Taliyah. Showmaker, he's had some great games, and Canyon, of course, he was the one that debuted it here on Damwon Kia. It was then taken away by Showmaker multiple times.
Yeah, he has also won 2 games of it. That was just the win streak that Taliyah is on. He's played an additional game Canyon has on the champion. Damwon Kia are undefeated. Their win streak of Taliyah was not broken, just Taliyah's win streak was, and still on a good streak, as Canyon is hiding here in the brush.
Oh, he's actually going to find the stun here as well, as Cannon's going to get hypered, but is going to survive. Arctic Assault, pretty good ability as far as escaping stuff is concerned, so he'll get out. Absolutely no worries. Noggery just going to clear up the wave and drift into Fog of War. Could just be cheater recall timing here for Noggery, unless he wants to go and cause a ruckus elsewhere, but I just don't think there's all that much to do, and he's just going to wait for the next wave, in fact, so doesn't even want to go home early or anything like that.
I do want to mention that Showmaker went for the... He both got the Dematerializer and the perfectly timed stopwatch here. I might have to hold my thoughts on this, as Dread is going to... Okay, get seen on this ward.
Yeah, Noggery,
he backs the second Noggery runs away. He's like, aww. But yeah, I do want to point out those runes because it's going to give him a little bit more flexibility here in the laning phase, and also will have the stopwatch for an early objective fight.
Yeah.
Where Taliyah can dive in, look for some burst damage, look for some knockups with the seismic shove, and then stopwatch to be perfectly safe when the follow-up damage comes through for the rest of the team.
Oh dear, Ghost's going to get knocked up. And he does have Flash and he does have Cleanse. He's going to use the Cleanse to get out, but holds the Flash crucially here. So they get one Summoner spell, but otherwise not too much more, as Nongshim, with control of the wave, going to be able to shove this one forward, and Dread looking to clear out some vision as he moves on over as well. I think spots out the fact that he wasn't actually seen, as he's looking to get a bit of invading done.
Yeah, is going to try to look for a steal on this. Might get away with it, 50-50.
Yeah,
we'll get it.
No smite for Canyon, yeah.
Yeah, barely gets away with that, so nice little edge here, punishing that rotation, because Canyon made a huge impact on both sides of the map here very early on in the game. Gave Nuggery that hyper proc over here, the trade that he needed to have complete control, to then further pull Dread around the map. Dread decides to then follow him down to the bottom side. He gets a flash, and Dread at least is able to smite steal that Gromp away, because without that, like, he gets nothing on the map. But Canyon forces out a Summoner, gives topside control to Nuggery in a matchup that has gone so well for Gnar, especially when the Gnar player is being piloted by the stronger player in this case. And
yeah, I actually
it's just not a fair fight for Kana.
Yeah, I favor Sejuani in a lot of these matchups, but right now Nuggery in a lot of control, and it's Nuggery that really showed us that Sejuani can do great things into the Gnar if you can reliably hit your Winter's Wraths. So definitely great work from Canyon just to give a little bit of attention, like you're talking about, to try and right that matchup. Really, really cool. In the mid lane, though, BDD is ahead in farm by a decent amount. And Nongshim are looking to take the first Drake. This is looking way better. As that's not super great, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's a lot of experience lost for Dread. And this is the timing where hitting level 6 is actually massive and very important. Will not have it, of course, this time around just yet, but he should have it for the Herald fight at least, which is going to be the critical one that he follows up with. So not the end of the world by any means. As Canyon is looking for a flash steal here. He's looking to take that one away from BDD.
Yeah.
Will not be successful.
Oh, just walks on in there. Canyon just going to help Showmaker shove this wave as threaded volleys fly through and secure that one. Whole bunch of rocks being thrown into the lane as BDD is able to catch this wave as it hops under the turret. No harm, no foul outside of the chicken that I guess he is. As Ghost pushes a wave in. So, honestly, I think this is absolutely fine for Nongshim, especially given the composition that they have.
It's natural prio that is given over by the lane states they have, and Kellen does not have 6 or anything like that. Ghost does. I think this would be ill-advised if they want to commit, especially with Gravitum available.
Yeah. Dr. really wants to get the arrow before that cleanse comes back off cooldown, as Ghost is pretty close to having that back up again.
So the lane control here that Nongshim have means they should be able to start up this Rift Herald first, but it's Talia at this stage, right? If Gnar has Gnar bar, which Nuguri is sitting on right now, he will probably not have for the start of the Rift Herald, you know, then it can be a scary fight for Nongshim to actually take, but holding the 2v2 here, getting that Azir prio, trying to set up for this, Dread's backing, we'll have level 6. I think this is a fight that Nongshim should look to take, look to force. They already have Drake advantage. Just furthering their lead would be massive for them on the Herald. Nuguri's there first, though. Talia over there with them, so Showmaker's scouting it out. They scry it, and they see that there's no Dread here, so there's a little bit more time for Canyon to clear Gromp, or rather, Krugs before he comes over.
Yeah. We'll see whether these bottom lanes are going to start moving, as Nongshim have held on to control of this lane for a really long time and are now hard shoving. This is an opportunity to just leave lane, make sure that Dr. and Kellen are dealing with this, and then take down the Rift Herald, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Warrior Trickster going to get Dread over that wall, but he is spotted there, as you can see, walks on division. Lots of pings come out from Damwon Kia, as now Kellen and Dr. are moving up.
They can't stop him, as, you know, Ashe down here alone with that wave that was pushed through isn't going to have the ability to clear this quickly and punish. Notice that Ghost is just coming straight back. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to come over here. Ghost was always going to keep Duckdom in this lane because he could have just switched to Crescendum and gotten a ton of value. Duckdom's only going to get 1 plate here. As Ghost, you are...
That's a dangerous choice. Probably just wanted to go towards the turret, but it's also dangerous to walk over there as well, as a second plate is being looked for here by Duckdom. Another wave conga lining forward. And so Damwon, that 2-plate for Herald trade that you're pretty happy with, is looking to come in as Canyon wants to get this demolished proc and will do so. Sorry. And Nuguri gonna get some damage here.
Kana's gonna take some damage actually for that, but we'll get the money and get out. Same to be said, of course, of Duckdom picking up those plates, and the decision to force Ashe into that turret and go up, I think, is fine for Ghost, but he just needs to have a bodyguard when he comes back to lane, and Snowflower should have identified faster that, okay, I'm not needed here on this Herald, I should probably head straight back, because Snowflower did really nothing, unfortunately, around that Herald fight, and then allowed Duckdom to grab plates there as Canyon and Showmaker came over and pushed him away. That is to say, Ghost, of course, from the lane. Arrow.
Okay, Arrow flies forward and does manage to land onto BDD. Oh dear, he does flash in time though, and gets himself out of the way. So, no seismic shove, and that means that Showmaker couldn't get there. Maybe he didn't have enough mana.
Yeah, he's just super low. Unfortunately, they are able to get the follow-up stun there from Canyon, but just no shove. But still, they get a flash and Emperor's Divide here from a long-range arrow from Duckdom. To see the power of the CC this comp has on single target, it is just unbelievable what you're able to accomplish if you can find that arrow hit from long range. No kill, but still you feel amazing about taking away those critical ults, that critical ult and the flash.
Flash is a huge one.
So now follow-up ganks. Yeah, follow-up ganks are so strong on the BDD in that window of time.
Well, exactly. We'll see whether that is where Canyon's going to go after this little jaunt towards the bottom side. Dread going to be here as well, as there's 4 seconds on this Hextech Drake. And Nongshim really wanting to take this one down. Hawkshot will give full information over to Damwon though. they look to head up this river, take things down. Ghost dancing around here. BDD has control of mid. And Showmaker, he can weave his wall anytime he wants. So he can always be here. Damwon Kia, they're not going to go for it. Nongshim going to be able to lock this one down. As okay, Arrow's going to connect once again. This is Dread trying to get over the wall as he flashes eventually to get himself out of the way. Showmaker has come through and he wants to kill his ex-teammate. Ghost will be taken down. That's going to be first blood. As Dread was backing in that brush, does cancel it, which I think is intelligent, but that is first blood going over to Damwon Kia, and they extend their lead to 1,500.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy about this too is Damwon Kia, if you think about that last fight where they almost killed BDD, had they been successful, Canyon would have had his stopwatch there, or rather, Showmaker would have had the stopwatch there, would have been able to come in even faster on that fight, look for a stopwatch play there, and so they were completely ready to contest this Drake regardless. This time, unfortunately, because they weren't able to get that stopwatch, it's a little bit late, a little bit slow here, as we're going to watch BDD. He stops his comms immediately when he gets arrowed. Flashes. And he's like, oh, I got out. Oof.
Yeah, wow.
And,
maybe
all right, so this fight, though, this is the arrow. As they catch Dread over the wall, they're just so ready to collapse on him. Then look at Showmaker come through. And Ghost he has nowhere to run. He can't go down. He can't go up. There's a Weaver's Wall there. He is just done.
He could have theoretically flashed, but I think he probably would have just still been dead anyway. As there was a crash in the mid lane. Rift Herald got a bit of plate value, but Dr. Arm got way more. As you can see, he picks up an extra one just by chilling in that bottom lane. So he's pretty happy about the situation. Oh my goodness. Is this like some dark technology Ashe that he has for himself here as well?
Okay.
The build?
Yeah.
This is an interesting
We'll see what he's
one.
going to build here, because we have seen Imperial Mandate even on 80 carry Ashe, but this is not that build, I don't think. So, well, we will see what he's got planned here. This is very interesting AP damage coming through here. Obviously going to have a ton of mana at this stage of the game with this, because every time he levels, he's going to get that proc from the chapter, and then he's building up stacks with tier. Plus, he has 2 biscuits. Like, he's never going to run out of mana. And his W is going to hurt a little bit harder when he is able to connect it. But, yeah, otherwise quite puzzling. I guess we will just have to wait and see. Everfrost, Ashe, question mark? Like, is he just going to, like, arrow at point-blank range and then Everfrost and be like, aha, got him? Yeah, we will see.
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm very, very interested to see how it's going to go, because I haven't seen too much of it. It's certainly feeling like a bit of a hybrid type build. But it could just be that he built Leandri's just to kill tanks. Yeah. Because there's a lot of health,
say that, like,
and you just add on hits. So maybe he just wants to do that instead of having to bother with a Blade of the Ruin King or something like that.
It's cool because Ashe just in general doesn't do that much traditional AD damage compared to a lot of the late game AD carries we have in the meta. And so, you know, this build that she goes for feels like a different low-range version of like AP Kai'Sa, where your value is going to be extended over time in longer trades and fights, and she's going to be seeing a lot of that if she goes for the Leandris here in those extended fights later on to break down the Sejuani, break down the Wukong. Yep. Even in the neutral fights, like, she will actually get some value out of it. So that's the expectation.
Going to be nutty if that does actually come through. As he's got a bunch of books, we'll see what they turn into. I'm expecting that it's going to be the Leandris. As Dr. Arm marching down the mid lane, this is the time to arrow. Shirley is available, but he's not going to throw it just yet. Not exactly full information being gleaned here by Damwon. Dr. Arm not wanting to hawkshot right now just because he doesn't want to give away his position to deny the angles. This is a lot of people all grouped up. Noguri doesn't have a Naba. We've seen him do pretty ridiculous things even with just mini Nars. Arrow is going to fly forward already. BDD has flashed out of the way. He's been bitten by that one before. It's now Snowflower is just dead. Showmaker collects that one, and this is what Damwon are doing this game. They are giving away an objective in order to just kill their opposition. As now Canyon just, he's going to eventually have to ult over the wall, and he does do so. And now Damwon continuing to press forward, but now
so
with control of this mid lane, then what is that Herald going to give you that this kill and push won't?
If you don't actually if you don't actually win that fight, but you take the Herald and walk away with it, your ability to use the Herald diminishes quite significantly. Now, at least Kana is getting some push topside here, is going to waste this wave into a turret, at least as much of it as he can here. Rough times to lose the minion there, but Nuguri's coming up, will lose a significant amount of this, losing a significant amount of his turret health, so at least they're able to make this cross map to a certain extent work. But yeah, this fight around the Herald is a little bit slow from Damwon Kia, but you can see their composition working swimmingly.
Ooh, Snowflower, good sidestep, avoids the seismic shove. It's Damwon Kia. They don't want Soul Point to go over to Nongshim, so maybe this is one that they're going to have to actually take, as Canyon takes a lot of damage. Damwon moving into the river. Noguri, Nabar in pretty good position. Nongshim, they know this. They are going to be backing away into a defensive posture now. Ghost, pretty dangerous positioning, but Control Ward does give them information. Just wanted to get back to this lane so that they could push it back. And the seismic shove goes wide yet again.
The long-term damage in this comp for Damwon is not amazing. If they actually give over Soul Point here and then potentially the Mountain Soul itself, it's terrible.
Well, the arrow is still going to land even after the flash, but seismic shove doesn't. And I think that is the main point. Some low health bars here as the flash comes out from Kellen. That could be a big deal as Dom lands another volley.
Ghost about to have his ult here, has, you know, obviously a bit of utility he can use. They're going to drop the Herald, look for this fight.
Yep, Gravitum ult available. That is definitely a very important point. As now, Shirley going to break that turret down. Damwon Kia were at least preoccupied for a little while. Nuguri running out of Nabar. Still has it for a little while longer. That will get Damwon Kia towards this river. And this battle for the Drake, man, we're in full River Ram territory right now.
Showmaker's going to teleport back in, does have Weaver's Wall available. Here's the TP. He's keeping his positioning hidden. And Nongshim are like, I don't like this angle. I don't know where he is. I am just not going to fight this. Looks like they're going to finally give this up.
Yeah, Glacial Prison is going to come forward here. Showmaker eventually flashes. Okay, Snowflower now in trouble. He's found by Canyon. Weaver's Wall comes through yet again. And Snowflower is, okay, going to just walk over here. Noguri eventually helps pick that one up as Kellen's going to get thrown asunder. Okay, BDD underneath his turret now. Noguri just lumbering towards the member. Oh, what was that? That was a very confusing situation there as Canyon is just ulting around Ghost. Going to be able to find something, but Noguri is going to just slam his head into the ground. It was a very strange fight, but Damwon Kia definitely coming out on top. They'll take this turret and they'll take the Drake.
That was very poorly coordinated by Nongshim because half of the team says, I don't know where Showmaker is at the initial part where he wasn't showing. Let's back off and give the Drake. And half of Nongshim is like, there he is in the mid lane. Let's push and all in to kill Showmaker. So we're going to go way back to here. This is Damwon Kia. Arrow here only hitting, unfortunately, Snowflower. It's a really nice flash from BDD to survive, but they end up Weaver's Walling to cut them off. Ends up being a pick. But look at the top half of this fight where Ghost Con and BDD are like, we're all inning. On the bottom side where Dread and Snowflower are still in the vicinity of this Drake. This just allows Damwon Kia to cut off the bottom side. Snowflower is extremely dead. BDD has to defensively ult here. And then the longer parts of this get a little bit weird because we do see Canyon take like 17 turret shots here and then still help set up for Ghost. They win the fight at the end of it, but like Nongshim were so split on what they were trying to do. It just gave Damwon Kia ultimate control over this fight. They're going to grab a turret. They grab their first Drake of the game. And that's so much gold into their pockets. I think Nongshim either needed to all in on taking Showmaker out and controlling mid to then turn onto Drake, or completely back away there because they tried to do both and walked away empty. 4,000 gold now behind. 5,000.
Yeah, it was still so funny, though, to watch Canyon flash hook and miss. He hits a minion, and then immediately afterwards, like, Noguri's like, no, don't worry, man. We all make mistakes like that. Flash ult's nothing as well. Oh, man. That was definitely a very strange situation there. But Damwon Kia, as you say, still managed to come out on top. Just really need to tidy up some of those plays.
It's really important that Nongshim don't get Soul Point here because it's a huge soul for them. Like I said, it's Leandri's Ashe, like we've talked about. So, yeah, it makes sense, like, that's going to be long-term damage. But otherwise, you know, Ashe isn't going to carry. Talia is more burst-oriented.
Look at that majestic arrow, though. It looks really nice. His Canyon's found Ghost.
He also has Cleanse. So...
Yeah. They wanted to get that cool,
but
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's shorter. The arrow cooldown is shorter, so yeah. You'll take it.
I wonder what the math is, Wolf. Whether, like, the percent health damage from Liandry's is actually better for the gold than Blade of the Ruined King. Because maybe it is. Because you just, on hit, just do percent health damage. This is actually something that Chronicler recently reminded me of. So I guess it kind of theoretically works here. Docdom is going to be building, you know, more of the utility style, so Lucidity's just come in.
I think the problem here is that Ashe in general, like, I liked it for what this comp could be super oppressively in the early parts of the game, and I liked the Halo Blades for lane and stuff. Like, I think Ashe is great in those regards, but in terms of what she's going to do with either Bork or the Liandry's here, it's not great for Damwon Kia. It's not amazing, but they're so far ahead now, and Showmaker is fed, so it might just not matter. The fact that Ashe's damage here is a bit awkward. I think it would have mattered a lot more if Nongshim were able to actually take that third Drake, and we're sitting on a 3 Drake advantage with 1 Mountain, and then potentially getting that Mountain Soul as Ghost.
Dear. That's
is the target.
That's it. Well, Seismic Shove's going to land, so Ghost is still dead. And Docdom is the one that picks up the kill, so regardless of the fact that the arrow misses, Docdom still manages to collect it. Also transforms his Manamune as well. As now Canyon, wandering over, does find Dread here in this brush. One of the great things about Ashe with Liandry's is the fact that your volley, especially when you're building this much CDR, as I'm going to have to hold my thought, that's an Emperor's Divide. Nogari's taking about 1 million ultimates, but is down to about 50% as he walks it off. Stage left. Stage left. Yeah, stage left is how it works.
Yeah.
Man, lefts and rights on broadcast, difficult thing. More difficult than math, in my opinion. As a left-hander.
This is Damwon Kia looking to take the Drake start, or rather Baron start. They clear out most of the vision here, control ward the pit, and this is a Scuttle Crab that can't see. Showmaker's going to stand on it. They want to sell this idea to control the choke, look for a fight. Showmaker doesn't have ult.
Oh, that was very cute.
But look at that. That was such a nice bait. So they just show on the Scuttle for a second, try to force them into that choke point where there's no vision. Look for a Seismic Shove turn. Nongshim are smarter than that, though, and will not fully commit or fall for this.
Nope, not this time.
There are some ways that Nongshim win this game. Like, BD is scaling up, Ghost is scaling. They have a lot of engaged tools. They have a lot of long-term damage in fights that Damwon Kia almost have because Showmaker is just so fed, and his threaded volleys are going to do a lot of damage in a longer fight because he's almost completely stacked a Dark Seal, and is 2.5 items up right now. So, you know, there are ways for this to go well for Showmaker in longer fights. I just don't know if the fights will be long. Like, that's the question. Will Nongshim ever be able to fight a longer fight, or they're just going to keep getting picked over and over and over again, always having to ult defensively?
Yeah, this is the worry, right?
This Liandry's build, like, I'm watching it, and I'm not a big fan of it so far. We'll see.
I love it.
Not proccing that much.
I think it's great, but maybe I'm just a hipster. Maybe it's my inner chronicler coming out. As Docdom, we'll see whether this arrow is going to be the one that pierces the heavens, as there is a lot of targets that he could hit. He's now in Fog of War as Nogari dives over the wall. They've been corralled, all of them. Oh my goodness, fantastic devour there from Kellen as well onto Showmaker. It's going to be Showmaker that secures the Drake somehow, as Dread is really dead. On the other side of the fight, Showmaker is just trying to move them all towards their side of the map. And Dread is eventually going to be taken down. Seismic Shove comes on through. Ghost is really dead. And this is Showmaker versus 3 people. They could not turn and hit him, though, as Nogari, he will be able to take down the Nautilus. And BDD is just running for the hills. Abyssal Dive comes on through. BDD trying to get some damage here, but Damwon Kia don't even care about killing the Azir. They just want Baron.
I mean, the amount of games this season where I've seen BDD be the last survivor on Azir with Flash and ult available is just too damn high, Atlas.
Yeah.
And, like, this comp is just not being played out here for Nongshim in a coordinated fashion, as we're going to go back to Ghost's tragic death, as he is able to, of course, avoid the Weaver's Wall there, but still Seismic Shoved and killed. Just fished out here. But look, Nuguri, this is not even the cleanest fight for Damwon. Like, Nuguri's over the wall, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm not in this. Like, so essentially this, like, Showmaker made this a 5v4 for Nongshim. Look at BDD's positioning. Could have flash ulted, could have actually looked for a charge through. The flash cooldown in this replay is actually incorrect. He actually does have it. Doesn't do anything. The team is split. Like, there's no coordination. And Damwon's comp is actually designed to punish a lack of coordination. As, yeah, Showmaker does a lot of damage.
I thought that Seismic Shove missed. It looked very, very strange, but that's how Ghost died. It was just caught on the very edge.
Yeah.
Hitboxes or something.
Just on the edge.
That's all you need.
But like, if Nongshim are going to play this divided and there's going to be a big lack of synergy in terms of the comms of what they're trying to do, a champion like Talia, it's her playground. Same with Gnar, who likes
Another
to shape
arrow?
the battlefield.
There's a lot of those rotating around
You can just
Runeterra
stop
right
the
now.
play-by-play there.
Yeah.
Just play-by-play, it stops right there. It's another arrow, that's all there is to say. Another one flies by.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. It's very majestic. You know, our theory about, you know, global projectiles just continuing to go forever into infinity.
The orbit.
Yeah. Like, Doctarm is really contributing to the amount of arrows that are circulating
Space
around
junk.
Runeterra now. Like, he's going to be approached like, you know, SpaceX or Skynet or whatever, where, with all of the satellites that they're putting up into the sky, having to be responsible for them. He's going to be responsible for these arrows as well, I think. As Damwon setting up for the siege. The wall comes down as Snowflower is real dead. Yep, you managed to land the CC and those arrows are very easy. Not going to need to worry about taking care of that one.
It's like, I mean, Nongshim just are so indecisive. They're not looking for plays here defensively either. They're just waiting to die. It's almost like goldfish being fished out of the bowl. Like someone's getting a new pet tonight. Like they're just waiting. Snowflower is the one who gets chosen, man. He's dead. That's the end of it. This game is just going to end in the most anticlimactic, boring siege way here as Damwon and Kia just walk forward with siege minions.
That's
Where's
not
the play,
true.
VDD? Where's the ult?
No. The ult's coming back up for Doctarm. That's what we need to hold on to, Wolf. We might see another arrow. And this one might land. It has just come off cooldown now. If he hits BDD, I'll be very sad because he has a Banshee's Veil. And that's not exactly the priority target. He manages to break that though. So let's see where this arrow is going to be heading, whether it's going to be heading anywhere at all. As Dread is slowed down. There's the arrow connecting. The hook is going to land as well. So Snowflower was kind of into the idea as he gets himself out to Dread, but oh dear, it's not exactly the play that you wanted to make. And Damwon Kia, they've just got one more turret to take down, and then this game is going to be over. Oh, make that too. Sundisk does get put up here by BDD, but he needs to go back to the fountain to get his health bar back. Damwon Kia are unrelenting with how much destruction they are putting down on this base. It's 12-1 in kills. It is 10,000 gold the lead. This game was barely close as BDD finally shifts forward, looking for a bit of a play. He will go down as Nongshim are desperately trying to fight back. Canyon looking for it, but Ghost gets his revenge on his former teammate. Flashes come out, but it's still a 3v3, and the Nexus is still exposed as Snowflower's gonna go down yet again. Dread is gonna get kited here as well as Doctarm's hitting him with a volley, and Canna, there's just nothing left in the tank. Snowflower's hands are off his keyboard, and Doctarm will get the last hit on the Nexus to give Damwon Kia their first victory of the day.